Hi everyone. So I finally got my Pixel 6a, and if you're following me on Twitter, trust me, it was not an easy ride. But I have it now, so I don't have to dream about it because I was dreaming about this phone since Google actually talked about that in the Pixel event. And when they told me that they are going to launch a 6.1-inch Android phone, I was really excited because I'm a sucker for compact phones. Yes, it has that 60 Hz refresh rate, and the price is not very good for certain markets, and I will talk about that. But for me, when I got to know I'm going to get a small Android phone, I was really happy. The last phone I actually really loved in Android was Pixel 4a. I also tried Samsung S22, but it did not work out for me. It was a beautiful phone. It was really nice feeling phone, but the chipset was not doing it for me, and the battery life sucked. So I really wanted to get a good Android phone that was not really large. I can use it with one hand. Here it is. So let's start with the pricing. So this phone is $450 in US and 44,000 rupees in India. It is very expensive in India because Google does not make their phones in India. So the duties are really high. But let's just talk about this phone as a $450 phone. In US, you can actually get Pixel 6 for like $500 and $550. For a long time, Google was also selling Google Pixel 6 for $500. For that extra $50, you can get a lot. I mean, you can get the glass back with Gorilla Glass Victor's front and back. You were also getting the wireless charging, the latest 50 megapixel sensor. You also had that 90 hertz refresh rate and wireless charging. So on paper, that was a great device. But a lot of people do not understand that it's not always about value, because when you're buying something, you are spending on something that you're going to use every single day. So for me, a phone like Pixel 6 and Pixel Zero, which I both used, I loved them, but they were really heavy for me. I did not want to use them every single day. So no matter what they're offering right now, if it doesn't suit me practically, it's not a good phone for me. So even if they were on similarly priced in India or wherever it is, I will still choose this phone over Pixel 6 or 6 Pro. I actually sold my Pixel 6 Pro to get this one, but I will talk about that. Now let's talk about the phone. It is a compact phone, and Google has done a really good job when it comes to build. It does not feel like it has plastic bag. And even though if it is a plastic bag, it has a better grip. It does attract a lot of fingerprints, so I would suggest going for a sage or chalk color if you're planning to like ride this naked. For me, I got this Pigeon Air case because even if it looks and feel like glass, it is still plastic and it is going to scratch easily. So I will be rocking a case with it, and even with the case, it does not feel bulky in any sort of way. I got this in black color because that was the only color available on my address. The display is 6.1-inch OLED. The bezels are thick and not symmetrical. I guess that is the only thing that makes it look not flagship. One thing I want to mention, it is not the best quality OLED because I've used both Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. It is certainly better than Pixel 6, but it's not as good as 6 Pro. There is a slight tint on the screen on the right side, so if you're in a very dark environment on a gray background, you can actually see it. It's not bothering me as much, so I think it's not going to bother you as well, because a lot of people can't even notice it. But if you're coming from a Samsung flagship or even iPhone, you might notice it, but it's not gonna bother you. Otherwise, the display quality is good. I like the colors and they are very nice and poppy. The media experience is also good. It supports HDR on every OTT platform. And now let's talk about that 60 Hz refresh rate. So this phone is 60 Hz, and a lot of people are asking basically two questions. Can you notice the difference between 120 Hz and iPhone 60 Hz with this phone? And the answer is yes, you can. The another question is it choppy? And this is where it gets complicated. The 60 Hz isn't choppy as much as the Android 12 animation, and Pixel 6a also has some bugs in the UI. You will see it immediately when you go to the Google pane, and there will be some sort of UI lags when you close or open application. And I think it's going to be fixed with Android 13 because I've used it on my Pixel 6 Pro. But for Pixel 6a, it is not out there yet. You cannot even use the beta. And in fact, this phone is still running on that April patch. It should get the latest update within a day or two, as it is already out, but I haven't gotten it yet. The one thing I really appreciate here that Google has put Tensor chip in this phone. See, Pixel's A series has mostly been a good value phone, but they were never a performance centric phone. But in this case, Google has put the best processor they have right now. I know it's not the best and it's made by Samsung, but it has been performing well as compared to the recent Snapdragon and Exynos chip. It does get hot while using the camera and even on the mobile data because the typical Samsung fabrication. But it didn't get as hot as it starts bothering me, and on Wi-Fi I did not face any sort of issues. I have been using this phone continuously. See, I'm not here to tell you what Tensor can and cannot do because this is an old chipset. But the thing is, it has gotten better with a lot of updates because it was out for a long time. And this is the best processor you can get in this price with a good software. There is one more thing that you cannot get in this price range, and that is the haptic motor. I think now there is no gap between the Pixel iPhone and even Samsung when it comes to haptic motor. But when it comes to the haptic feedback, iOS and Pixel OS are the best. They actually make your interaction much better with the OS. But what is not great on this phone is that fingerprint sensor. It gets the job done, but it's not fast. I haven't faced that issue where it's getting unlocked with unregistered finger, but it is a slow fingerprint sensor and you have to accept it and the fact it does not have the face unlock as well. I cannot completely comment on the battery right now, but so far it's actually pretty good. The problem is the charging is actually slow, and to be honest, on Pixel 6 Pro it was even worse. See, I'm coming from iPhone 13, so it's not a huge issue for me. It also support 20-watt charging, and they usually take almost similar time. But if you're coming from a faster charger, it might be a deal breaker for you. And now last but not the least, the Pixel cameras. I really love Pixel camera when it comes to photos. They're a little bit contrasty and not everyone likes it, but when it comes to photo, I still love pictures coming out from Pixel phone. There is one controversy that is going there that why did not they use that 50 megapixel camera that they're using on the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro? And I agree with them. This sensor is old and it will look grainy when you will look it in the viewfinder, but when you click a picture, it's like magic. I'm not saying it's okay to use old sensor. All I'm saying is the camera is one of the best when it comes to the picture. Even the ultra wide camera is great and consistent with the main camera. And I've compared a lot of phone in this price range. A very few camera centric phone has a good ultra wide camera. Videos are still not the best, but they have improved a lot, especially on audio. Take a look. This is a front camera sample. It can only record 1080p 30 frames per second. There is actually no option to change anything. So yeah, a little bit disappointed with the 1080p, at least it's a Tensor chip. It should be 4K, but this is the front camera quality, and I think the HDR looks okay. This is a video recording sample from Pixel 6a. So I'm recording from the rear camera, 4K 30 frames per second. As you can see, this is how it looks. I'm gonna walk a little bit so you can see the stabilization as well. The color looks a little bit saturated, but this could be because of the screen itself. But otherwise, the video looks okay. See, I get it. It is expensive in India and a lot of people think it's actually expensive. But I will pick this phone over a phone like nothing one phone any day because this phone offers a much better value in terms of the processing power, the cameras. It also has that official IP rating and those small feature which makes it a Pixel phone. I will definitely make a full review of this phone. I'm also planning to compare it with iPhone 13, not because they're differently priced and it gives you more value, but the thing is this phone is the one of the rare compact phone with 6.1 inch that can actually compete with iPhone 13. So let me know if there's anything in your mind you want me to compare. Also follow me on Twitter if you want regular update of this phone about the battery and how is it performing. And if you want to watch my full review, you can subscribe to my channel. My name is Rohit. I'll see you in the next one. Till then.